A single signature destroyed a father's life in less than 5 minutes. By lunchtime, his wife had emptied every bank account, transferred his business into another man's name, filed false legal claims, and disappeared with the one person he had trusted more than anyone else, his best friend. As security guards escorted him out of the company he had built with his own hands, he stood on the sidewalk holding only a small backpack and the tiny hand of his 6-year-old daughter. Everyone watching believed they were witnessing the end of a broken man. None of them imagined they were watching the beginning of a legend that would return 7 years later and shake an entire city. If you believe kindness is stronger than betrayal, forgiveness is more powerful than revenge, and every person deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share this story with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing community. Graham Mercer had never dreamed of becoming wealthy. His greatest dream had always been simple. He wanted a peaceful home, honest work, and enough money to give his daughter, Elsie, every opportunity he never had. Growing up in a small coastal town, Graham had learned the value of sacrifice from parents who measured success not by luxury but by love. After years of working impossible hours repairing commercial equipment, he eventually founded a maintenance company that quickly earned a reputation for reliability. His closest companion through those difficult years was his childhood friend, Preston Hale, a charming, confident man who always seemed able to convince anyone of anything. Graham trusted him so completely that he made him a partner without ever imagining that trust could become the sharpest weapon against him. His wife, Vanessa, had once admired Graham's honesty. She often told friends that his kindness made him different from everyone else. But as the business expanded and wealth began to flow, admiration slowly changed into impatience. She wanted faster success, bigger houses, luxury vacations, and constant recognition. Preston quietly encouraged those desires. He spent more time discussing financial opportunities with Vanessa than with Graham, convincing her that Graham lacked ambition and that the company deserved stronger leadership. Graham never questioned their growing friendship because he believed good people naturally attracted good people. Everything collapsed on an ordinary Tuesday morning. Graham arrived at the office expecting another busy day only to discover unfamiliar executives sitting inside the conference room. Legal documents bearing his forged signature transferred controlling ownership of the business to Preston. Vanessa had already filed for divorce using fabricated accusations designed to freeze Graham's remaining assets while she claimed emergency financial protection. Every account had been emptied before sunrise. Every investment belonged to someone else by noon. Every employee had been instructed not to communicate with him. Even the building's access card stopped working before he reached the elevator. The humiliation spread across local news faster than truth could defend itself. Investors abandoned him. Friends stopped answering calls. Former clients assumed guilt because scandals always attracted louder headlines than innocence. Graham had no expensive attorneys. He had no influential relatives. He had only Elsie, whose frightened eyes searched his face for reassurance that even he no longer possessed. For months they lived inside a modest shelter before finding a tiny apartment above an aging hardware store. The walls leaked during heavy rain, the heating system barely worked, and the furniture consisted mostly of donated pieces carrying scratches from forgotten families. Yet every afternoon sunlight streamed through the cracked windows, painting warm golden patterns across the floor where Elsie completed homework while Graham searched endlessly for work. Many employers recognized his face from newspaper stories and politely refused to hire him. Others offered temporary labor that barely covered groceries. Graham repaired fences, painted warehouses, cleaned machinery, unloaded trucks, and fixed broken engines. Every dollar mattered because every dollar meant another school lunch, another library book, another chance for Elsie to keep believing tomorrow could become better than today. One warm spring afternoon, an elderly mechanic named Roland Whitmore noticed Graham repairing a damaged hydraulic lift outside a small manufacturing shop. Most workers had given up after hours of failure, yet Graham quietly examined every bolt until he solved the problem using spare materials that cost almost nothing. Roland saw not merely technical skill but remarkable patience. He invited Graham to join his struggling engineering workshop. The business was nearly bankrupt. Ancient equipment filled the building. Customers were disappearing. Yet Graham approached every challenge as though rebuilding his own future. Instead of complaining about outdated machines, he redesigned them. Instead of replacing expensive components, he invented affordable improvements. Slowly local factories noticed that Rowland's workshop delivered better results at lower costs. Years passed beneath bright morning skies and busy afternoons. Graham studied advanced engineering through public libraries, free online courses, and technical manuals borrowed from universities. Every lesson became another brick rebuilding his confidence. Elsie watched her father transform disappointment into determination. She learned that success rarely arrives through luck but often grows quietly inside ordinary days filled with persistence. One afternoon, an environmental technology company visited Rowland's workshop searching for someone capable of solving an expensive manufacturing problem. Graham proposed an innovative solution that reduced waste dramatically while increasing efficiency. The company offered him a consulting contract worth more than he had earned in several previous years combined. That single opportunity opened countless doors. Instead of chasing luxury, Graham invested carefully. He launched a new engineering firm focused on sustainable industrial systems. His reputation spread across several countries because clients valued honesty as much as innovation. Investors admired that he refused shortcuts compromising quality or employee welfare. Newspapers that once described him as disgraced now celebrated him as one of the most respected entrepreneurs in modern manufacturing. Within 7 years, Mercer Dynamics became a billion-dollar company employing thousands of people. Graham never forgot those difficult afternoons repairing broken machines while wondering whether hope itself could survive betrayal. Every new employee received healthcare, educational support, generous family leave, and opportunities for advancement because Graham remembered exactly how helpless life felt when every opportunity disappeared. Meanwhile, Preston and Vanessa discovered that stolen victories rarely last forever. Their reckless spending attracted dangerous investors interested only in quick profits. Poor decisions drained the business they had stolen. Lawsuits accumulated. Customers left. Luxury homes became financial burdens. Preston's confidence faded into desperation while Vanessa realized wealth without trust created endless loneliness. The city announced a major redevelopment project involving several abandoned industrial districts. Companies from across the country competed for the enormous contract. Preston believed winning the project would rescue his collapsing empire. He entered the final presentation expecting a desperate fight against unfamiliar competitors. Instead, he walked into a bright conference hall where sunlight reflected across polished glass walls and stopped cold at the sight of Graham standing calmly at the head of the room. The once broken father now carried quiet confidence rather than anger. Expensive clothing had not changed his gentle expression. Success had strengthened his character instead of replacing it. Business leaders listened carefully as Graham presented a redevelopment plan prioritizing local workers, environmental responsibility, apprenticeships for struggling families, and community investment rather than maximum short-term profit. Every proposal reflected lessons learned during the years when he himself had needed someone to believe in him. The contract committee selected Mercer Dynamics unanimously. News spread rapidly. People remembered the scandal from 7 years earlier and began questioning everything they once believed. Independent investigations reopened old financial records after inconsistencies emerged during unrelated legal proceedings involving Preston's failing company. Digital evidence previously hidden finally surfaced. Forged signatures, manipulated transfers, fraudulent documents, and coordinated deception became impossible to deny. The public apology many expected from Graham never arrived because he never demanded one. Instead, he quietly focused on building schools, vocational training centers, and scholarship programs for single parents trying to rebuild their lives. He believed true victory meant creating opportunities rather than celebrating someone else's downfall. Elsie had grown into a remarkable young woman inspired by her father's resilience. She often volunteered at community education centers funded by Mercer Dynamics. She understood better than anyone that generosity born from suffering carried extraordinary power. Every family helped through those programs reminded her of afternoons spent studying beside cracked apartment windows while her father refused to surrender. Months later Vanessa requested a meeting. Years of regret had replaced the arrogance once shining in her eyes. Time had taught painful lessons about greed, loneliness, and broken choices. Graham listened quietly beneath the afternoon sun in a peaceful public garden filled with children laughing nearby. He neither celebrated her failures nor repeated old accusations. He simply acknowledged that some wounds leave permanent scars while still allowing forgiveness to exist. Forgiveness did not restore the marriage. It did not erase history. It simply released the weight of hatred that could have poisoned everyone involved. Graham understood that carrying bitterness would only continue giving betrayal control over his future. Preston eventually faced legal consequences for financial crimes uncovered during the investigation. Graham never appeared in court seeking revenge beyond justice itself. He believed the law existed to protect truth, not personal pride. When reporters asked whether he hated the man who had stolen everything, Graham answered only that losing money had nearly destroyed his life, but losing kindness would have destroyed his soul. The city gradually remembered Graham not as the businessman who lost everything but as the father who refused to let tragedy define his daughter or himself. His greatest achievement was never the billions displayed on financial reports. It was the thousands of families whose futures changed because one broken man chose compassion instead of revenge. Before we reach the end of this journey, take a moment to leave a meaningful comment. Have you ever seen someone rebuild their life after betrayal, or do you believe forgiveness is the greatest victory a person can achieve? Your thoughts may encourage someone facing their own difficult season today. Years after his remarkable return, Graham often visited the old apartment building above the hardware store where hope had quietly survived during the hardest chapter of his life. He would stand outside beneath the warm afternoon sunlight, remembering the frightened father who once wondered if tomorrow would ever come. Then he would smile, knowing that the greatest fortune he ever earned was not measured in billions but in courage, integrity, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his daughter. His journey proved that people may steal possessions, businesses, reputations, and comfort, but they can never steal determination from someone who refuses to quit believing in better days. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May this reminder stay with you wherever life leads. Betrayal may change your direction, but it never has the power to decide your destination when your heart refuses to surrender.